Fury. Just awkward, tall, and I think he's a bit of a nut job, to be honest with you. I think he's just got a bit of a screw loose. Any man with a screw loose, they just have a little something that you can't put your finger on. So with Fury, it would be tricky to figure out. Fury would be a real breakdown job, a gruesome type fight. Kind of like the Klitschko fight. I'll go to hellfire and back to get the win. Fury boxed 12 rounds and ran against Klitschko. I don't respect that. If I'm the king of Dubai in the olden days and a different empire comes to take my territory, you don't come and steal my treasure. That's what Fury's done, I think. He stole the boxing from Klitschko in the sense that he just boxed and moved. If an up-and-coming king wants to take the king's treasure, you look him in the face and put the dagger in his chest. You don't stay from afar and slash. You go to war. And that is what me and Klitschko did. The new king is announced if you really dethrone the old king. You knock him out and took him out of the throne, and now you sit on the throne. If you go to points, you're only as good a champion as the last champion. You have to knock out the old champion to show you're the stronger and fiercer. If I went out there and went 12 rounds with Klitschko, then we are just as good as each other. The judges made the decision on the fight. I went out there and knocked him out. I took the belts from him. I didn't leave it to the judges. Those are the words of Anthony Joshua. Once again, very vocal about one of his rivals. In this particular instance, it's the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. He says he'd have to go through hellfire to beat Tyson Fury. He's certainly given Fury more respect in terms of how difficult he think he'll be as an opponent than he's given the likes of Deontay Wilder or Joseph Parker. He says they'd have to go through hellfire. He said it'll be very tricky, etc., etc. And if we're talking about the Tyson Fury who fought Vladimir Klitschko, you have to imagine that Joshua's right here. That he would have to go through a very, very difficult process in order to even get any clean shots on Tyson Fury. But will that Tyson Fury ever return? We know, well, we hope that Tyson Fury is going to return, but will he be the same Tyson Fury that fought Klitschko? That's the question that everybody's asking themselves. Some people believe that he will. Is that wishful thinking, though? I've personally never seen a fighter come back from being so terribly out of shape as Tyson Fury for so long and become an elite fighter again. Or not even become an elite fighter again, but be as good as they were before they put on all that weight. Because you do have, for example, George Foreman. He came back in his late 30s and won the heavyweight title, I think, when he was 45, 46 for a second time. But the old George Foreman was definitely not as formidable as the young George Foreman. He wasn't the same fighter. He was still a relatively good fighter at world level, but he was nowhere near as good as he was when he was in his 20s, in his prime. So again, I've never seen it. Someone get terribly out of shape. And even when Foreman was out of shape, after he retired following his loss to Jimmy Young, he never got as badly out of shape as Tyson Fury. Yeah, he put on a lot of weight, but he was never... The amount of weight Tyson Fury has put on is ridiculous, if you've seen the pictures of him. So, I don't know. Fighters who blow up in weight generally, never mind having long layoffs, when they generally blow up in weight, they find it difficult to come back and be successful again. Buster Douglas, I mean, he was always kind of a fringe contender anyway, but after the Holyfield loss, he put a load of weight on, and he was actually in a diabetic coma. He nearly lost his life. He put so much weight on. He did come back after that and return to boxing, but he didn't do very well. Another example, Riddick Bowe was a guy who was always fluctuating in weight throughout his career, and he's a good example of how fluctuating in weight can really backfire on you. Because when he finally got back down to around 230, 235 pounds for the Andrew Golota rematch, that was the first time he'd been down that kind of weight since he beat Holyfield the first time, which was his best performance. Most people would agree with that. So even though he got down to the same kind of weight against Golota in the rematch that he was in his best performance, the first Holyfield fight, he wasn't the same fighter. Losing the weight had taken so much from him, as well as the tough battles he'd been in, but certainly losing the weight just made Riddick Bowe weak in that second Golota fight. He actually did better in many ways in the first Golota fight than he did in the second fight. In the second fight, he just looked like a dead man walking. He looked terrible. So, again, we have to find out what Tyson Fury is going to look like when he gets back in the ring after losing all that weight. People can see him on the pads now and he seems to have a little bit of energy. But when he shed all that weight, will he still have the same kind of energy? We'll see. He's still a young man, so hopefully that will work in his favour. But it all remains to be seen. Let me know what you think about Joshua's comments here. Personally, again, I think that it shows that Joshua has a pretty good understanding of what kind of fight it would be. A tricky, difficult fight. A fight where he might have to bite down on the gum shield and just go hell for leather in order to land a big shot. You know, he might have to concede and give away quite a few rounds. Not even give away, but just accept the fact that he can't outbox Fury and hope to take him into the trenches and win that way. So yeah, let me know how you feel about this in the comment section below. It's Hatman, I'm out.